Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Go black.
I love your top today.
Thank
I
you.
love this. I love like a bold stripe. It just reminds me of like 2002, you know?
I love stripes.
Do you?
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess it's just classic. I feel like
It's
you
so
can't go wrong with it.
So classic.
And then I'm also in this kick of like, I don't go deep into my closet.
Yeah.
I always just pick out like the first 5, so I just end up wearing the same outfits over and over. So
Yes.
now I'm trying to be, instead of shopping.
Yes. Shopping in your own closet.
Yes, I'm just browsing in my closet these days.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
That's a great like spring cleaning kind of thing to
Yeah.
just get in there in the back and see.
What's
you know?
going on.
We have like no storage space, but still I'll do the same thing where I'll just be like, these are dirty, and I just like fold them up and like put them in a crevice. And I'm like, 4 years later, I'm like, oh my God, my slacks.
I'm going to wear these. Yes.
I'm a new woman.
So welcome to Lady Journey.
Oh, welcome everybody. Thank you to every journeyer out there who has
Yes.
supported us. Thank you to our amazing Patreon people. You guys are on a journey. Thank you to the people. We have had so many incredible reviews lately, and we want to say God bless you.
Those are so helpful. First for our mental.
Yes.
Yeah, for our mind.
We're on the brink
on the
constantly,
brink.
and those just pull us back for just a few moments.
And then it helps us on the algorithm, so we're always
Yes.
appreciative of them. And I do like sharing them on our social media. So.
Yes. And my big goal is we're at 78 reviews now. If we can get to 100, I am going to do something crazy and ridiculous.
It's going to be a huge surprise even for me.
Yes, and
I'm
even for me, because I have to think of it.
So that'll be fun. Also, I just got an alert yesterday. In our $20 tier, somebody finally got approved for the mug.
I know. We set up the mugs. We didn't know what to expect, and what to expect was waiting, apparently, because we did that 3 months ago.
We were so excited. You would think being on the tier for a few months at $20, they would have just given it right away. But I don't know what their standards are at Patreon. But
No.
I'm happy to say that congrats, Alexa. You should be getting your mug soon. And please, when you get it, take a photo, tag us, and we'll share it.
It's a perfect mug for sipping an herbal tea and having a conversation about microaggressions.
Absolutely.
Very
And while
Lady Journey.
staring out the window.
Thinking of the future or the
Yeah,
past.
or the past.
Really anywhere except for the present moment.
Yeah,
It's a mug for
never live in the
escapism.
present.
Yeah. Get the farthest away from it as you possibly can.
Absolutely. So, guys, thank you, ladies. Any gender.
Any gender, any being, thank you. Thank you for your support. And please continue to support us.
Yeah, don't stop. What's going on with their...
Oh,
I know we were just together like a few weeks podcasting.
yes.
So now we had a short period of time to come up with Lady Journeys.
Yes.
But I think we did it.
I think we did too. I think we really nailed this one. And I've been feeling a little creatively depleted. So I've been trying to just like expose myself to more like fun stuff and, allow myself to TikTok, just getting in there. Yeah. My bucket's been empty.
Oh, I go through ebbs and flows.
Yeah. I'm in an ebb for sure.
Yeah. And it annoys me because like, you always are told like just say yes to every spot. So then I have like I'll do 2. I had a busy week last week, and then I'm like, I don't even have anything new to say, and it's driving me crazy.
Yes, because you're just running around. You're like, hey, what? Isn't the airport upsetting? Isn't it crazy when you're so stressed in the airport that you kind of start crying?
Yes. Like nothing. I'm like, I don't even know what to talk about.
Yes.
I can't.
Yes.
So I would like to take a break and then just enjoy being with friends.
Oh, fill up that bucket.
Fill that bucket up. Yeah.
But I've been on the road too, as you know, and so I did another casino, which I'm becoming a casino comedian. They're the cruise ships of the land.
They are the cruise ships of the land. It's hard when you do casinos because I actually want to eviscerate the crowd that comes to
Yes.
comedy shows at casinos.
Yes.
I know there's a few great people out there, but I really do feel like, and this is going to be such a snobby take, I feel like casino crowds are I'm like, what are you guys doing? There's a lack
casino-
of creativity going
Yes,
on.
a casino, it feels like a purgatory, you know, because you're going around. It's like there's a lot of vices there, but no one really feels like they're having a good time. It's like, you know, it's like the finest cakes, and you can get fast food, and you can do gambling, you can have a drink, you can have cigarettes, but it's like everyone just looks really like they do not feel well at all.
Yeah, because they're not going outside. I also feel like casinos are a place for people that have no taste to go to.
Yes.
This is like a horrific judgment I'm doing.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I'll be like, is that your best outfit for tonight?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the club I was working at, which I won't say their name, but this actually is a very good family-run club. They are comedy fans. They know comedy, and they do have people that come from the surrounding area just for the club.
Yeah.
So it's a good space. But I was like a little trepidatious to work it because I remember the last time I worked this casino, which was pre-pandemic. They had an instance with a regular. I guess there was a guy who he was in a chair, a motorized wheelchair,
Of course.
as you do in a casino, just to get from slot to slot with ease.
Who wants to work out while you're in
Please,
it?
yeah, don't move your legs.
Yeah. I got to make money fast.
He was in a chair, and he was a regular at the shows. And so what I had learned from the people, the owners of the club, is that he comes to the shows regularly. He's always mean. He has assaulted several of the wait staff with his chair by ramming them. Which, you know, it's like, you don't want to think about it. You don't want to hear that.
No. And then it's like there's a level of, because you're assuming they're in a wheelchair, they're not able to walk. So you have to have a level of sympathy. But then you're like, but I'm just getting abused.
Yeah, I'm being assaulted with your differently abled device. And I guess what had happened was they banned him from the comedy club, but the casino, which the club is a part of, would only honor a 24-hour ban. So
Of course, because they want his money.
They
he
want his
clearly
money.
wants to come. Yeah.
they just want his money. And so there he comes the next day, and I thought, oh my God. And at this time I was just featuring. So I thought, oh my God, like I hope he's not gonna heckle me. I hope he's not gonna ram me. I mean, heckling, that's the least of my worries. And then after the show, at this time, I was collecting email addresses because I thought that was the key to success, which it's not. I found out since it is not. But he came over and offered to, I guess there was a miscommunication. He was looking to get my email address, thinking that I was offering to correspond with him.
And you're like, yes, I love what's going on here. Let's take it to another level.
Yes. Oh, let's keep in touch. Anyone who wants to keep in touch with me, feel free. You know, I have the time.
I am open to communication.
But it's like you don't want to feel that about like yourself. You know, like I think I have a pretty good act, but then it's like the worst customer at the comedy club loves my act. Like, what does that say about me?
Absolutely, because I had that in Punchline Philly, and like on the Sunday show, I think I had a lot of single men sitting by themselves, and I'm like, do I attract incels? It was like, I know, I think a lot of our listeners aren't aware that there's a podcast called Come Town that we have friends on, but they attract, if you do one of their comedy shows, stand-up shows, their whole audience is just 25 to 45-year-old men by themselves
who want to hear you say molested in any context. They just like, that's what they're looking for. I'm like, that's not my act. I'm going to be doing some material about birth control side effects. Yeah.
The social dynamic in a hetero relationship. Yeah.
Tea parties. Why not? Yeah. That's a tough show. That's a tough show.
So, but it is funny when you're like, is this my fan base?
Yeah.
And do I embrace it?
Is my fan base war veterans? Veterans of the Vietnam War.
I know, because we have peers that have a very heavy female fan base, and I'm like, what do I need to get that?
What do we have to do? This is our journey. This is our journey.
This is our journey, and this is our end game.
Yes.
I want a more female ratio.
Yes.
Or I don't want to be gender
exclusive. We don't want to exclude, because we do have some lovely men.
Lovely men. I just want nice people. That's what I want.
Nice people. We want people who have a book club and they know how to do a cheese board.
Yes,
that is our demo.
That is our demo. Because
brunch crowd.
Absolutely. Because we were talking about earlier. There's sometimes a time, and if it's like dudes in the audience, and then you notice they're only responding to your sex jokes, that you're like, am I a sex worker right now?
This
I
guy's
think
being
I'm doing
like
an OnlyFans for this man.
This guy's being like laughed to masturbation. It's like just laughing to come. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like that scene. Remember that scene in Louis ages ago where he like meets a quirky gal?
Yeah.
He meets a quirky gal and then she just like kind of comes like out of nowhere.
Is that Chloe? Is that
excuse me. That's my birth control, but I actually took it already because I said I don't want to mess up Lady Journey.
No, but that was a callback to the birth control journey.
Callback. Every podcast I do, my birth control alarm goes off, and I'm like, this is not a bit. This is not a bit.
I feel like I've been on 3 podcasts with you where
yes,
the timer has gone off.
Sorry.
Yeah. Whoops. But yeah, casino gigs. I don't think I've ever had a casino gig where I'm like, I've arrived.
Yeah. Yeah. They're tough.
Yeah.
They're tough.
There was one casino gig that I've heard 2 comics, headliner guys, that just went out and after 5 to 10 minutes of their set realized that this is never going to get better, and they walked out. And I was like, I didn't know that you could just do that.
Yeah. Applause.
I love that. 'Cause I'm always under the guise that you're like, well, they paid me for 45 minutes at least.
Yeah.
And that, which I think it's kind of cruel to have me up there bombing for 45 minutes.
Light me.
Just light me. I get that way sometimes, like, at the clubs in New York City where I'm like, after 5 minutes, this isn't getting better.
Yeah.
So take me out of my misery.
Yeah, but you never know though. I feel like you have like a good perspective of like what you're like. I'm not doing as well as I could, but meanwhile, like you're doing better than like every other person on the show who's like, I'm just, hey, anybody here have a mom? You're like, what?
Yeah, what's happening? We're like, what do you think about my shoes?
Yeah. Oh.
This guy gets it.
Yeah. Is that my dad?
So, but yeah, like casino gigs.
But that's not even my journey.
God.
That's not even my journey. That's just where I'm at in my life.
Yes.
But I'm on a journey right now. Okay, so I did do the capsule wardrobe last fall. And what I never really did as part of my capsule wardrobe, because I just couldn't settle on it, was I never picked a signature color. And I did like my whole palette. I did like I am a deep winter, and I looked at it's so funny too, because it's a very complex set of quizzes and metrics to determine what your palette is. It's like, what's the undertone of your skin? Are your eyes round? It's like, okay, so I'm a deep winter, or a deep autumn, deep autumn, which I don't love the colors of deep autumn. It's like jewel tones.
Is it like a mustard or a chartreuse?
Yes, it's like
maroon,
mustard, maroon, like deep purple, like teal. And I don't love those colors. Like my colors are like, I'm like teal. I just don't, or like even like an emerald. I could do an emerald.
Yeah.
But I love like a blush pink, or
like I'm digging your eyewear is that blush pink.
Yeah, like I like
that I think is flattering.
Yeah, I like lighter colors, but according to my winter palette, I should never wear dusky tones.
That is really fascinating because I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I guess I have to wear these colors now. And you're like, I don't like them.
I don't like mustard. Like, what am I in Clue?
No, I absolutely. But I'm intrigued because I'm like, maybe the next time we see you,
I will have chosen.
Put on the color.
Yes.
And let us, the viewers at home,
let you guys
determine
decide.
And be like, yes, okay,
yes,
because you'll be surprised.
I think I will. Well, I think when I find that color, I am going to. It's going to make everything easier because I'll be like, oh, it's my color. I can buy it. Did you happen to watch Bridgerton?
No,
it's.
I
so
know
good.
People are loving it. Is it kind of like horny period piece.
It's very horny. It's very emotionally taxing. I mean, I was just sobbing watching it. I was just
Netflix,
like,
right?
Netflix.
I feel like I quit Netflix at the wrong time.
Oh, you can have my password.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Just for Bridgerton, though. Do
Okay.
not watch anything else.
Okay.
They have nothing else on there. But in Bridgerton, they do the costumes in such a way that it's like each character has like a signature color. And that's what
Yes.
really kind of like got me back to this like desire to just like, I just want to like emerald. I could see emerald being my signature color.
I'm
I
seeing it
do
on
like green.
Your t-shirt. I like
This
a
is my-
green.
I have a picture of Nicolas Cage on my shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, so it could be emerald. It could also, I feel like maybe even like a burnt orange, but like never a red. I don't wear red. It just feels like a whore's color. I mean,
Yes.
is that
you know what I
society
think of,
like creeping in my brain?
No, because now I affiliate red with Fox News.
Yeah, it's just a color of someone that needs attention. I feel like.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
Strong opinions about to come out at you.
Hello, I'm here. Yeah. Hi.
Yes.
Seems like the color of and again, I hope I'm not offending anyone that loves red, but it is a power color. But to me, it just feels like the color of a woman who is like mean to you as a joke.
Yes.
Like, you're looking kind of bloated. My
What's
friends
up,
say I'm the
bitches?
funny one.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, what? You just rocked my world.
Yeah, you came in really hot. Yeah. No, I am with you on red. Like, I've never worn it, but I've seen some people, and I do think certain like blondes look good in red.
Yes.
Which is the Fox News aesthetic for the anchor.
Yes.
Yeah.
It definitely
And
is.
Megyn Kelly.
Yes.
But yeah, I've been like, oh, I'm always like, I should wear more color, but then I always just kind of stick to my neutrals.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I see people that incorporate color, and I'm like, it just looks really, really good on them.
It looks so good. And I feel like if I could just land on, it's not a blue. It's not like a deep blue.
Yeah.
Maybe more of like a goldish purplish. Like I have a great eyeshadow that's like it was a goldish purplish a while ago, and it looked so great.
Oh, I think I remember you wearing that one. I remember liking it a whole bunch.
Yeah. It was my
Um,
color for a while, and then
No, I'm like, you should, the next time we see you, I'm thinking get into your autumn colors, even though it's like seems so controversial when we're hitting spring.
we're
Like,
going
can you
into
wear
spring. Yeah.
autumn colors in spring?
I feel like your color, if you have one color, then it works for you all the time.
Yes.
So I guess you wouldn't want to pick like something that would necessarily be like a signature autumn, like a mustard.
Yeah.
I guess mustard could kind of work in spring, but it just feels like, I guess it could be more of like a
Like a dandelion.
dandelion.
Or
yeah.
like, yeah. Is it dandelion? That yellow. I'm
that
thinking.
like corn
Yes.
yellow. Yeah.
Or this, like that sunflower.
Sunflower. Yeah.
yellow.
No, do you have a color? I mean, like, you're just kind of neutral. So I feel like I'm a neutral queen right now.
I'm pretty neutral. In my family, they're like, say pink.
Okay.
Like my mom is always like, pink, that's your color. But I'm never like, I just don't see it. I always
Yeah.
think it kind of can wash out a little bit because I'm kind of, I
Yeah.
guess, like lightly pale.
I could see you in a pink though. I love that.
I like yellows. I like blues, or light blues. Like
Yeah.
a sky blue.
Oh,
I like those.
yes. Oh, yes. That's a great color that goes with so much stuff.
yes. I feel like you can't go, wrong with that.
I
But
could be a
nothing
hot
wild.
pink. I could be a hot pink.
Yeah, you could be a hot pink.
A hot pink could work for me.
Well, like
But not a pale pink though, because apparently that's wrong. That's against the laws
yeah.
of my palette.
Have you ever seen I've seen this on TikTok, and I feel like it kind of goes along the lines with the color palette idea of like what your colors are. Have you ever heard of them talk about like gamine feminine and like
Yes.
I forgot the other
It's like-
terms, like where they say that the certain way that your angles on your face with your body features, that some girls look better in more like ruffles
Yes.
and very feminine bias cut stuff. And then like there's other women that look better in more like structured or tailored pieces.
Yes. And I was looking into that, but then I was like, oh my God, I can't be doing science right now.
So you're like, Oh,
do you
wait.
like fashion? Do you want to hate it because you can't wrap your mind around it?
I know. And then, like, what if the whole time you thought you were, like, whatever that term, gamine feminine or whatever they call it.
You
and
like
then,
look like shit in ruffles.
yeah, you're like,
actually,
somebody told me wrong.
I know. It's like, who even came up with that? It's like the person that did Myers-Briggs.
Yes.
Was like, let's apply it.
But that's like, yeah, like you'll go through, like your hairdresser is like, you went to a previous one and they were like, you're like, yeah, they just told me I look like good in bangs. And they were like, what?
Yeah, they're like, that was a hate crime.
Yeah. So it always seems like one person is like telling you, or a stylist is telling you, this is what for you. And then you go to another stylist. They're like, oh, no, honey.
Yeah.
That is not what we're doing. You're like, I had no idea I was walking around like a fool.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you just kind of look normal. People are just like walking past you like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. No one's thinking anything about it
whatsoever.
But it is like fascinating when you see these like TikTok accounts that go really into, as you said, the science of fashion. You're like, I can't do this right
My
now. I gotta
brain-
pay rent and inflation is happening.
I know. It's like I need my brain space for recipes, for salad recipes. This is too much.
Yeah, you're like, that is too much information just for fashion.
Yeah. But I will keep you updated. I will keep you updated, and I'm going on a journey of, I think maybe I'm gonna go to just Buffalo, nothing crazy. I'm gonna pick a few colors and I'll try out each one.
Okay.
Try like start with 3 and then just like see.
I'm into this.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my, I think it'll be a good way to just do it, see how it goes, instead of like trying to like mastermind it and being like, I'm a maroon, and then I buy like every maroon piece and I'm like, I don't like this shade
You're
at
like,
all.
I was wrong. I was completely wrong. And
I made a terrible mistake.
I'm not a maroon. Wait, but how did you figure out these were your colors?
Because I did a quiz on the internet that was a very comprehensive quiz of like face shape, body undertones, like eyes, and then it shows you like your palette, and then you're supposed to choose the color from the palette.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you went to an actual pro.
Oh, maybe I would do that, but not in this economy.
Not this
Who can afford to get a therapist for your color palette?
No,
Like,
but
by the way, I'm sad.
but wouldn't that be like great to have that money that you could go do?
I would love it. I would do
shit
it
like that.
I would-
Absolutely.
Little waist, just
Yeah, to just come in next day with your friend group and be like, oh my God, my life is totally changed.
Yes, because you love that people have that jobs too. Like, oh, what's your work? Like, I'm in marketing. Like, I'm a color expert.
Yes.
And I tell people they look like shit for a living.
It is so fascinating that people have an eye like that. I feel
Yes.
like our friend Mateo
Oh, he's so good.
is kind of like that. He's like, oh, he'll be like, he doesn't know makeup, but he's a really good artist. But he'll be like, they've contoured this person completely wrong. And I'm like, how can you tell?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just knows.
Yeah, he's a great artist. Like some of his sketches that he does, you're like, oh my God, wow, he really has an eye.
Yeah.
But he wears a lot
of.
of neutrals though.
He
does wear a lot of neutrals.
Yes. Yeah. You should check him out. Highly
Mateo
recommend
Lane.
Mateo Lane.
Yes.
Um,
What's your journey that you're on this
well-
weekend? Oh, I love this. I love this.
I guess it's not really a journey. I can't really say that like there's something going on in my life right now that's causing me to bring this topic up, but it is a thing that I always find fascinating, and you see it a lot online.
Yes.
Is people always talk about red flags.
Red flags is such a hot topic, but people actually put it into practice so little, I think.
They do, and sometimes I also think people are so harsh or quick to say something is a red flag.
Yeah, it's like we all have trauma.
Yeah, or like had a moment where it wasn't our best
Yes.
thing, and it doesn't necessarily like mean that is part of your pattern. Because I always joke with when a lot of girls are like, no, that's a red flag and you need to end that immediately. And then I remember like Joe's and I's relationship in the beginning, because obviously he was still an out there alcoholic, and I kind of knew that. And also he had like I felt like he was still on his parents' phone plan, and I just managed to push through those red flags, and I came out to a really great green field. That I'm like, if I ignored those, like I feel like I would have missed out on a really great person. But he did I felt like see somebody that was working on himself.
Yes, there's room to
Yeah.
grow. There's room to grow. I know. I think that there's stuff with red flags where it's like, okay, is this a deal breaker that like, you know, it I think it also just depends on how you feel about the person too. It's like if you're attracted to somebody, like there's definitely some red flags with me and Mike in our in like the early days of our relationship, but I was like, well, I'm just going to keep it in mind. I'm just going to see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how this plays out. You're like, I don't know. Some people can actually just have a slight temper while they're driving on the road, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're like
They've killed.
they're going to be physically abusive in the home.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've seen people say, no, that's an absolute red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
people love to get judgmental on it.
Absolutely. You know? And then I remember watching this like makeup artist on TikTok talking about she went on a date with this guy, and the way she described him, I was like, oh, that sounds like Joe. His kind of humor. And she's like, absolutely not. A total red flag. And she just like dumped him. And I'm like, this is hilarious because I married this man and I'm very happy with him.
Yeah.
So it is like really weird that other people's red flags are like not even that big of a deal.
Totally subjective.
Yeah.
Totally subjective.
So it is like an interesting, I think, world in the red flag world. But I do have some that are like friendships, like the ones where it feels like you're the one that's always having to like travel,
reaching out
to them.
Yeah.
I feel like those are red flags out there, or there seem to be people that are in constant turmoil.
Oh, the crazy makers. Yeah.
The crazy makers.
Yes, that's one where I'm like, I can't be involved in drama. Like, give me a boring friendship where we just talk about soups. Which is what this is.
This is Lady Journey. Because I had a friend I met through comedy. We were in like a sketch group together, and nice enough. But as time went by, like I would just get like a 2 a.m. Facebook message saying we need to talk.
Oh my God, no.
That I was like, first of all, none of my relationships in my life, this was a male that's supposed to be a friend of mine. I'm like, this is asking too much. It's weird that I have to be like, sorry, tell my husband, like, I got to go talk to my friend at 2 a.m. in the morning.
My friend needs me.
Yeah, where you're like, that's like a weird boundary that was crossed. So I had
Yeah.
to like end that.
Yeah.
And I wish the best for them, but I was like, I can't. That is inappropriate. I cannot drop everything for a male counterpart.
No.
That I'm like, we're not.
It's like an emotional affair at this point.
Exactly. Like what? That is a horrific boundary that you're asking me to cross. So I was
No.
like, because before it was always under the guise of friendship, but I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just kind of tired of like these like guy friendships when you're like, yeah, I actually feel like we shouldn't even be talking on this level.
Yeah, it's like, what do we even have in common?
Exactly. Like we can see like whenever we run into each other, it's like, hey, how's it going? What's your life like? But like I can't be emotionally invested in guy friendships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drama is one thing that I'm just like, I cannot put up with it. I can't put up with like, I had a roommate that was like, it was all drama all the time. And I just, finally, I was like, I just completely stopped reacting. I'd be like, oh no. Like I try to like be really supportive. And then it's like, oh, that person, it doesn't, what they need is you to like reassure them constantly. And it's like, I can't be here for you in that capacity. I'm like completely living my life.
Yeah. Or like, cause then they'll just be like unaware. Like all of a sudden you're helping them. Your energy is just going into helping them nonstop. And then it always feels like they're never grateful.
They just want more. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
you
just
would
like
think
more,
they'd be
more,
like, well,
more.
thank you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that with comedy sometimes too, where I used to always be like any female comedian at like an open mic or whatever, I'd always make a point to like connect with them, because I remembered how hard it felt when I was doing open mics and there would be like 2 women in the room and I'd be like, God, I just, feel so like an outcast here and nobody's even reaching out. So, but then I kind of stopped doing it because it would just be like, oh, well, now I'm just like making myself available to someone's like, oh, here, like I'll climb on you. Like, by the way, like, do you have Jeff Singer's email address? I'm like, well, we just met and you've been doing comedy 6 months, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That it's appropriate that I share that with you.
I know. You're like, I don't know. Don't even know if I would vet you for a job opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. No, because I've had that. I remember one time online, I was like, hey, if anyone is interested in hosting, and this person was like, oh, I'd love to host. She came and she just hung out and then expected to get like a discount on the food, and she didn't do anything. That you're just like, what was this?
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, there's like so many nutty people out there too. But one of my top red flags of dating, which I do think that this is a deal breaker and should not be ignored, is lying.
Yes.
Lying. I went on a date with a guy, and I know this is not a dating podcast and we don't usually do this, but this is red flags.
But I love red flags because the idea of somebody not knowing that this is absolutely inappropriate behavior.
Yes. Just like a wild psycho thrusting yourself upon the world. This guy, he had his Tinder picture or whatever. I think it was OkCupid, which I at that time in my mind, I was like, OkCupid's better because I can read more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm reading a book about this person. That means they're safe. So his photo, very handsome. He looked like Keanu Reeves. Nice. On a beach, walking towards the beach, gorgeous. We're texting back and forth. He wouldn't give me his last name. He claimed because he said, let's wait until we meet. I don't want to be like scammed if it, I said, my best friend was like, oh, it's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. I met up with him. He was 15 years older than his photo. He looked completely different. You could tell it was the same person, vaguely.
Yes.
He lied about his age. He lied about his photo. And then, of course, the date didn't go well because I'm like, well, I'm nice. I'm like a people pleaser. So I'm like, I'll have a good time with anybody.
Yeah.
I'll just have a couple glasses of wine, like, see what happens.
Yeah, just one date. Let's see where
this goes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, like, ruin my own night. But, yeah, I was just so taken aback. And he was, like, joking about it. It's like, I hope you don't think I would ever see you again now that I know that you're completely dishonest.
You're like, why would I want to take this to the next level?
Yeah.
Like, what
else
if you're
are you
lying
gonna
at
lie
this
about?
level,
Yeah.
like, where is it going to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones, I also, like, these ones are weird because I remember having this in my early 20s with red flags of dating. Is I dated a guy that didn't have a phone and he'd have to go to the convenience store across the street.
Oh, my God.
And I remember being like, I guess we're all on our bad luck. But then when I reflect back on it, I was like, wasn't he 28?
We all have hard times where we have to use the phone at the gas station.
Or the other one I thought was weird, didn't have a bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
and then
God.
that one, you're like, oh, I spent 6 years with that. And there it was the whole time of like, just had a horrific time of, like getting the minor shit done in life.
Yeah.
The basic necessities to be an adult.
Yeah.
And like, and it's weird because it's like, I blame my parents because they were their first love. Like, I don't think they realize how outside the box it can get.
Yeah.
Where to them, they would be like, of course you don't date a guy that has a phone, but you're like, yeah, but you never told me. And they were like, well, we didn't think that you would be that stupid. Like,
to date a guy that has. Well, when you're in your early 20s and you're looking for somebody that like is interesting to you and turns you on, like those things are higher priority than somebody who has their life together, I think.
Yeah, and then you're just like, you do think, well, he could be an artist lifestyle. Like maybe this is just hard for him.
He's bohemian.
Yeah, but then you realize you're like, wait, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this. It's just as like the basic functioning of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is weird.
Yeah.
Like, where do you, like, what red flags to ignore and then what's, like, definitely, like, just deal breakers?
Yeah, because some people are just poor, and it's like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you're younger. It's like, date some, But when you get to, I think, like, being in your later 30s, one of mine, I, like, made the list, and I was like, must have his life together financially.
Yeah.
I'm not like, and I love guys. Guys love to, like, twist that into, like, oh, okay, gold digger. It's like, oh, really? I'm looking for a guy with a bank account?
Yes.
It's like, oh, that's me trying to weasel away money from a man, I'm sure. Somehow it gets like twisted, but yeah, it's harder to ignore friend red flags too, though, because sometimes with like I wish I had never ignored this red flag when I lived in the attic space, which, as you know, I went and I lived, and the landlord immediately seemed unhinged. But the thing with like New Yorkers especially, everyone in New York is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
everyone in this city
we're tested every day.
Yeah, it's like if you're like a normal sane person, like you have a beach house.
Yes.
Like that's just the fact of the matter. But and so you never know if someone's like, is this person like crazy in a way that's going to be harmful for me, or do they just really love Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah, yeah.
They're just following Cyndi Lauper home every night, you know,
Yes.
which you need a hobby.
Well, I remember one time you were telling me, because we were talking about like Florida gets shit for being like crazy, and we were like, no, there is also New York crazy.
New York crazy, yeah. Where it's just like it's very like hip and fun, but then it's like, oh, okay, you don't realize it's a threat until it's almost too late.
Yeah, they're
But-
like gaslighting.
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But his behavior did seem unhinged, and then what happened was I ignored it. I ignored it because I was already moved in. I already lived there. He was leaving psychotic notes around the apartment. Anytime there was like, if somebody left out like a spoon in the kitchen, he would leave a psychotic, I don't know who you think you are, but you're a bum to me. It was just like one time I made some fish and it was like a little oil splatter, a psychotic note. It was like, why don't you go back to your flop house in Bushwick, you dumb idiot? And even that wasn't enough to push me over the edge, because
That would
then
have given me hives.
I documented all of it. I documented, I took photos of everything, and it was just, it happened, it must have happened 20 times. I lived there 4 months, but it wasn't until he was just screaming obscenities. He didn't even live in the apartment, by the way. He was just coming in there
yeah.
to check it out for some reason.
Yeah, and you just like let it fly. You just feel like you have no rights.
Oh
In
God,
that situation.
And Mike was there too, and Mike was like, "Hey, he's Italian." It's like red flags are just like Italian characteristics. I'm like, "Well, he's screaming at me. Should I move?"
No, he's just Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know. Yeah, it is. Yes, it's funny, especially culture. You're like, oh yeah, you just accept things.
You just accept things. You're like, I guess, and especially too with comedians, I think it's really hard to like point to another comedian and be like, that's a red flag, or it's like, is that a red flag, or is that just like their enduring trauma? You know?
Exactly. We're like not necessarily like a bad person.
Not a bad person, but just someone who is doing their laundry in the bathtub for the time being. It's like,
Yes.
oh, that's a fun quirk.
Exactly. Or there'd be like comics that just constantly couch surfed.
Yeah.
That you're like, when are you going to get a place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally like a dude one too, where
That
it's
is a
like,
dude one.
oh, I'm just like between homes now. It's like, well,
For 2 years.
yeah, I mean,
I think you're just kind of freeloading,
but
right?
he writes poetry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm just like thinking with more about red flags of like, sometimes I think we are harsh, but it is kind of up to you, and you can determine your own.
Yeah,
red
but I
flags.
think you really hit on one with like the drama.
Yes.
Drama is one I can't look past, because I'm just like, I'm exhausted in every element of my life. Like, I can't deal with like somebody's mom sending them an email.
Yeah.
Like, please don't involve me in your family's backstory.
Absolutely. Or anytime you leave, you're like, that was a lot of work, or I just felt like I got gaslighted the whole entire. That's mine, is like anytime someone feels like they're gaslighting me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not hanging out with you.
Yeah. Or when
You're like, I like my reality and I can't have it changed.
No.
Yeah.
No. Or like I feel like what you're talking about is sometimes when you meet somebody, and sometimes it's a conservative person, and they're like, this is just an example that's coming to my mind, but like they're super argumentative, and they want you to, they want to engage you in an argument to change your mind. And it's like, I'm not gonna join QAnon. Like, I don't know what you think that I'm just going to be like, I just don't engage with that person, because it's like, you're not interested in having a dialogue in any way. You just want to badger me until you have your own viewpoint reflected back onto you.
Yes.
Like, what is this?
Those are horrific. I kind of put that in the category of contrarians.
Yes.
That you're like, do you understand this hang is absolutely horrifically tiring.
Yes, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not at work right now.
No, you're like, I kind of just wanted to have a fun conversation, and now everything that I bring up, you are making me defend my life choices and my whole belief system, when in actuality you can just accept it when I'm accepting yours.
Yeah,
And we can just actually enjoy each other.
Yeah. It's a lot of like, there are like a lot of people that do that with like certain liberal topics. I think they're like, well, see, like white people can't even say anything. It's like, I'm not going to come over to your side, and I'm certainly not going to do it in public. Okay. Well, white men are actually being castigated by society. It's like, I'm having a salad.
Exactly.
Allow me to have my salad.
Or you're like, this feels like I'm in a trap. Like
Yes.
whatever I say in this moment, I am fucked.
Yeah.
So I'm not going. I've gotten to the point where when there's certain people, like I know who they're like that.
Yeah.
I just quietly get up and I walk to another
Just
table.
avoid them.
I don't want to get in a fight. They're pleasant to be on the superficial level, but like when I see them coming, I'm just like, I do not try to engage with it.
Yeah, they're energy vampires.
Absolutely. And guys, stay away from that.
Stay away from it. Well, this has been this week's Lady Journey. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes.
And please give us a 5-star review, comment on our YouTube, bump up the algorithm.
Yes, and let me send us your personal red flags, because those are interesting. Because somebody had sent to us like a recipe told us what they were working on. They said that like feta cheese tomato TikTok recipe.
I love it. I've done it before. I love it.
Was it good?
So good.
So I'm going to try that. But I love hearing, one of my favorite things on TikToks is hearing other people's red flags and dating stories that are horrific.
Love it.
Like this is one, I'll get off real fast. She was, this guy only called her after like midnight.
Oh,
he
God.
could only meet. He was like, my grandmother is living with me, and I have to wait until she goes to bed to hang out. And she's like, is that weird? And the comments were like, get out. Like that guy is obviously like in a relationship and he's waiting for his partner.
Yeah, he's in a relationship with his grandmother.
Yeah, like who gives a shit when your grandmother goes to sleep?
Yeah, like your grandma can't know that you're dating a nice young lady. Oh, by the way, I want to give a shout out to our newest Patreon member, Ree. So wonderful. We thank you so much for joining. I looked at your photo. You're a beautiful woman.
Yes.
And she actually looks so similar to someone who was heckling this weekend at the casino. And I thought, oh my
jarring.
God. Yeah, I said, oh my God, is that the woman?
Yeah.
Because she was very pretty. And it's often pretty women who are the worst hecklers.
Well, they're helping.
They're helping us, the less pretty women. But Ree, we thank you so much for your support. And I said I was going to give you a special blessing with a crystal. I don't have it here, but
it's here.
Everything's a crystal.
Everything's a crystal. Lady Journey.
Lady Journey.